Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to finally another kind of talking video. We get to talk about Celtic. Just get a few things out the way that I've missed and onto some questions for you. As you know, this is a CFC Q&A. You've looked at the title, you know what you're clicking on. We're getting ready for episode, what is it, 8 now? The last episode was live, so if you did miss it, sorry about that. But it is on the channel for you to watch. A link will be in the description below, because I think a lot of people might have missed that because it was live and the notifications don't work as normal as normal videos do. So it's on the channel anyway if you did miss it. We're going to get right back into the swing of things. Can't even talk. That's how long I've been fucking gone for doing a normal video like this. Face-to-face talking. You get to fucking see my sexy face once again. But aye, time for you to get some questions at the way. I put the tweet up. You know how to get involved. If you don't know how to get involved, go and follow the Twitter at CFCQA118 and send in your questions when the tweet is put out. Obviously I try and do this every Sunday and it's Monday today. But aye, forgive me for that. I'm sure one day isn't going to be groundbreaking. But aye, stop wasting any time. We'll finish the intro. Let's just get right into the swing of the video. First question, Sean Farron asks, what team would I play for the Salzburg game? Now obviously I'm going to do tomorrow my match preview for the Salzburg game, as I always do 2 days before the game. I get my preview out. So I'll give a more kind of in-depth team prediction and team, what I'd like to see. Tomorrow regarding tactics. I'll go far more in depth, so make sure to keep your eyes out for that. Usually they are the videos that get watched the most anyway, so I'm sure you will see it if you're watching this. So I mean, I don't know how much to say on this. I'm not going to give a full perfect 11 because I saved that for tomorrow, as I said, but relatively close to the team we played against Aberdeen, I'd like to say, and I'm sure we'll get into talking about the Aberdeen performance in this video. One question I want to ask you guys, would you like to see me do more kind of match by match reviews? Now for the last couple of years I have never really went into doing match reviews for every game. I've never done it for all the Scottish Premiership games, but I feel like there has been more of a demand in the comment section for me to do that and give my thoughts on the actual individual league games. Usually I'll do it for, like, you know, the Rangers games, or a game where I feel like there's a relatively big chance for me to discuss what's happened, like the loss against Kilmarnock, because that was such a terrible game. But if you want to see me do it week in, week out, I'd be more than happy to. It gives me more videos to put out, I suppose, as well. It probably would help the channel growth and such, but I've just never felt the need to come on and talk, especially if I'm not going to get a full 10 minutes out of it or so. I feel like it'd just be a waste. But if you do want to see it, let me know. But for the Salzburg game, I think we should keep the team relatively close to what we played against Aberdeen. We looked strong. It was a better performance. Of course, we only won the game 1-0 in the end, but you've got to remember Aberdeen are technically the second best team in the country. They have a good team with a good defence. They're not easy to break down. They're always going to be a difficult side to play. So I mean, you've got to only expect so much when you come up against them, and a 1-0 result with the performance that we put in, I feel like we can't complain about. So relatively as close a team as possible. I mean, Jack Hendry, I mean, he even played well at the weekend. Would I start on Thursday? Don't know. More to think about on that. I would maybe even take away the two up front. It didn't really work out. I don't think it was as successful as we'd like it to be with Griffiths and Edouard up front, so I'd maybe just stick with the one man up top against Salzburg as well, and Edouard might not even be fit for the game. Obviously, he went off with a dead leg at the weekend. So, I think relatively close, as I said, to the Aberdeen team. The team I played, Aberdeen. Just a couple of changes here and there, but I will go more in depth about it tomorrow. Kevin asks, when's Law getting the lights on? Very good question. Fuck knows. But if we've paid that much money for them, we've only got about 3 more chances this year to see them, so hurry up and get them out. Sam Clark asks the question, which is a relatively frequent question, comes up most weeks. What signing would I make in January? As we might lose Boyata and they're still struggling to score goals. I talk about it all the time. I think I get bored of repeating myself, but it's a question that has to be asked. You know, Celtic do need to make signings in January. That is evident, defensively and offensively. We are struggling to score goals. We need a striker. That is a priority in my opinion. Griffiths is scoring at the minute, but to be honest, I still feel like they are lacklustre performances he puts in. He gets the goals and that's what's matter, and he's got to be the starting striker right now. There's no question about it. But we still need someone who's scoring more than 1 goal a game. And, you know, half the time are goals that are, you know, relatively lucky. They go against Kilmarnock, for example. We need a striker who's going to be scoring week in, week out more than once. As, you know, in Europa League, we need that. And in European competition, we need that. So a striker's a priority, but yeah, I still could go, and to be honest, I expect him to go. So we need to bring in a centre half as well. Just ultimately, we need new defenders. We needed it at the start of the season, and we still need it now. So I'd expect defenders to maybe come in January, but a striker and a centre half is definitely the priority, no question about that. John Shaw, do I think Celtic will ever sign James McLean? It's never going to happen. Look, we've had opportunities for the last 3 seasons to probably sign James McLean on a bargain fee. He ended up getting a move this summer to, what was it, Stoke? I can't remember if it was permanent or on loan. He's never going to come to Celtic. A lot of fans want to see him come to Celtic because we know his own views and such. I just feel like it's a player that people want to see purely for personality. Would he add anything to the Celtic team? On a domestic level, yes, probably, there's no doubt in that. But we can do better than James McLean. Yes, I understand he's got a massive passion on the park. He meets a lot with the ideals of a lot of Celtic fans, but ultimately when you're buying a football player, that's not what you should be looking for. You should be looking for the footballing ability. Yes, he's a Celtic fan. He would play for the club, he'd play for the badge, with extreme amounts of passion and intensity, I imagine. But before putting anything else first, it should be football and ability, and what matters to us is getting players that have ability to take us far in Europe. And I don't think James McLean is ever going to meet that. He's ageing as well. We've had chances in the past to sign James McLean, probably. We probably had a chance this summer. If Brendan Rodgers does not feel like he's the player that Celtic need, there would be no point going out the way to buy him. I don't think, personally, that it would add too much to Celtic, apart from depth. And that's why I wouldn't sign him personally. I just don't think he'll ever sign for Celtic. I don't think it will happen. Michael Doran, who will be Celtic's biggest challengers this year? Well, so far we've seen this season that everyone has presented a challenge to Celtic. We've not been the greatest. Rangers have certainly improved, but are still, lacking that, Rangers. They're not quite Rangers yet. They're not the side that challenges for league titles. They are 6th in the league. We are 5th. None of us are having a great start to the season. Hearts right now are looking like the biggest challengers. They are on fire. There is looking like there is no stopping them. Eventually they will hit a rough patch of form, but Hearts right now are looking like the most likely team to challenge us for a period of this season. But every team right now, that are above Celtic, can present a challenge. Every team below Celtic right now can present a challenge. But when it gets to the nitty gritty, when it gets to the end, when the title's on the line and the trophies are on the line, right now Hearts are looking to be the team. But there's still such a long way to go that it's so hard to tell. You can't dismiss anyone. And I feel like eventually Celtic will get back to the top of the table and we could go and win the league by, 10 points again. But we need to wait and see. Only time will tell. It's too early to judge. But if I was to put my money on anyone, it's got to be Hearts right now, because Hearts are looking great defensively. They're scoring goals. Naismith's on form. They're not making life easy for anyone, including us. So right now I've got to say Hearts. Glasgow's Green and White also relating to the transfer issues, saying what would be a successful transfer window in January. A successful transfer window in January would be to get the players on contracts that are important, make sure people want to stay at the club, bring some positivity, bring someone who'll bring a lift to the club and bring an incentive to go out and play entertaining and scoring football. Whether that be bringing a striker, a big name, anybody. Just bring in players at least. We need to make 2 or 3 signings. We've got to bring back something, a spark to the club that is going to get us these good performances once again. A successful window for me is a striker and a centre half. I'd be happy with that. I'd go out at the halfway point in the season saying that was a decent window. In January, usually not much happens. Usually your business should be done, the majority of your business in the summer transfer windows, but obviously we left that late. We didn't do it well, so January is really our summer transfer window for us. So a lot of signings probably will be expected by a lot of fans, but I would personally be happy with a striker and a centre half, and even anyone who would just bring that lift to the club, as I mentioned. Will67 asked what part of the stadium do I sit in. I sit just above the standing section, the upper tier. If you watch my matchday vlogs, you pretty much know where I sit. You see the view all the time. It's a heavy transfer related video. And Lewis has asked, I think that Peter Law will give Rodgers money to strengthen in January. Really, he's got to. We've seen how this season has started. We've seen the creeps of uncertainty come in to do with absolutely everything. Players' futures, the manager's future, this season overall, when it comes to results, a lot of things are creeping in that could go wrong. I'm not overly concerned because there's still a long way to go, and I know performances should identify and should say to me we should be overly concerned, but I feel like it's still, early doors. We will get our act together. Even at the weekend we looked good against Aberdeen. As long as we could get back to scoring goals, then I think there's not too much to worry about, but Peter Law has still got to make the funds available for Brendan Rodgers to strengthen the team, to ultimately be a better side and get players who can give us better performances, because right now we are lacking that. And I feel like a lot of the things to answer this question I've already said in this video. So basically what I've been saying, but will he, the important question is, will Peter Law give him the money? It's not do I think he should, it's will he. That's another question completely. We've seen how stingy Peter Law can be. The summer transfer window was the prime example of that, when improvements had to be made, when signings had to be brought in. We didn't do it, and we ended up paying for it. By getting such a dodgy start to the season, by losing our best player in Moussa Dembele. There was a lot of things that went wrong and not a lot of things went right. So hopefully it's an eye-opener for Peter Law and saying, right, okay, do you know what? Fine. after the start of the season, I will put money into the club in January. We will make signings. But you've also got to take into consideration who can we sign, who's willing to come to Celtic, who's willing to miss out on the Champions League football, such as, so many questions to ask. Will we need to wait till next summer? I'd rather not. I'd rather get business done in January if possible. Will Peter Lawwell do it? It's simply, I don't know. Lewis also asks my thoughts on the current refereeing standard in Scotland. Not directly a Celtic related question, but a question that is on everyone's minds at the minute because the refereeing has been extremely poor, as it always has been. There's never been a point in the recent times where you've looked at the refereeing in Scotland and felt assured by it or felt confident in it. It's always been treacherous, it's always been shambolic. And it just seems like it gets worse and worse. And it affects not just one team, it affects every team in the league. We've seen examples of that week after week so far this season in multiple games. So, I mean, the refereeing in Scotland has to improve, but how do you do it? It's not like there's a sudden influx in referees waiting to come in. The SFA just need to, send them on courses. It's so hard to just fix something overnight as drastic as that. It just comes down to the referee himself. And they've got to be more constant and competent with their performance, their decisions on the park. How does it change? You don't know. You just need to hope over time that decisions will get better, but it's always going to be dodgy. It's a difficult one to talk about. My thoughts on it are shambolic. The referees are terrible. That needs sorted out, but it's not something that's easily fixed. And there's a lot to look into about it. But if I have to give my thoughts on it, it's shambolic, the refereeing up here. Final question for this episode: is Lustig's time up? Kier or ask that question. Aye, it has been for the last year or two. An invincible season, maybe not so much. Didn't really look at it so much and think Lustig needs to go. What disappoints me is Lustig had a decent World Cup when he played. Obviously he missed that England game where they got knocked out of the tournament because he was suspended. But up to that point, he was a cracking player. He was doing things right, defensively looked solid, but he's came back to Celtic now at the start of the season and been a shadow of that. It's just not been great. And ultimately he just lacks a lot on what a fullback needs, and for our football especially. He's just too slow, he has past it. Simply put, and I love him. I love his personality, I love his passion for the club, I love the fact he's been here so long. I love everything about the guy, but his performances are lacking, and unless there is an improvement in those performances, a right back is something we should probably invest in, because Gamboa is also a player who's questionable, and a lot of people like to see him get a chance, but ultimately he's still no good enough. That's just the truth. So, right back should be invested. Lustig, is he past it? Yes, he is. That does it then for this episode of the CFC Q&A. I mean, obviously, this episode was very transfer related, very January related. So, that was a nice wee kind of theme recurring through that episode. If you did enjoy, you know what to do, like and subscribe, and I hope you will. Looking forward to next week's episode, but we'll have a bit to talk about. So, let me know your opinions in the comments below. Get your questions in for next week as well when the tweet is put up, and I'll see you all next time.